Okay, now hopefully this video should help with feelings of not being loved by a partner, or maybe your partner doesn't care about you, or maybe you find it hard to control your emotions around your partner and they trigger you off and push your buttons. The greatest lesson that I've learned about relationships is that you can't change the other person. And you hear this being peddled all the time. People will always say this to you. But hopefully I can explain it in a way that really helps you to understand. So I feel like me and my partner, we've come to make or break time, crunch time. It's either now or never. Something's got to change, you know? And this is how we always feel. Well, particularly me after a big fight, right, something's got to change this time. If I explain it in this way, then he'll understand. Then he'll have an epiphany and think, oh, now I know where she's coming from. I'm going to change my behaviour and everything will be okay. No, that's never happened, okay? We haven't spoken to each other for 2 weeks. And I believe this has been for a very good reason, especially on my part. It's given me space to get rid of all the old ways of thinking. So all of the sorry, he's outside. So I've realised that we're both at two different stages of our spiritual journeys, and he doesn't understand certain things that I understand, and I don't understand certain things that he understands. And we can't make each other understand these things by talking or by writing each other emails or anything. We we just can't. Things that he understands are outside of my circle of perception, and things that I understand are outside his circle of perception. And now that I've realised that, it's very liberating. What's going to happen now? The plan is I'm just going to let things be. So over the next few days, hopefully we're going to start talking to each other again and just, building things up again. I had this whole speech planned out, this time I'm going to make him see it from my point of view, and, I tried to control the situation, like, right, this is what I'm going to say, this is how I'm going to say it. I'm not going to do that anymore. In fact, I'm not even going to address the situation, and I'm definitely not going to say, right, things are going to be different around here because I'm just going to accept anything you say. I'm definitely not going to say that. Just going to try and make things as normal as possible, just normal conversations, normal talking, and nothing deep. And then when something arises where I feel he's being critical, I am not going to defend myself. I'm not going to explain myself. I'm just going to let him think what he thinks. Because the more I defend myself, the more resistant I am to him and his opinion, the more he becomes resistant to me and enforces his opinion. And then the more resistant I come to that opinion. And all we have is this friction. So I remove the friction and I don't resist his opinion. And then naturally his opinion will kind of tail away. He won't need to enforce it on me anymore because I'm not resisting it. And I'm going to have to practice a lot of patience to not argue back. But that's what I'm going to do. And the most important thing to remember will be, just because I've chosen to not resist him, that doesn't mean that he's not going to try and resist me. So he may try to argue with me over something, and I've got to allow that to be. I can't think, well, oh, I'm not arguing with you, so therefore you shouldn't be arguing with me. You should afford me the same courtesy. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, just because I have chosen this and I've realized certain things, it's in my circle of perception and not his. Okay? So he may well come to discover something else on his own, or he may discover this on his own, or, maybe it's not his time yet, and that's fine, and I have to allow that. I can't expect people to keep up with me, and similarly, I shouldn't put pressure on myself to try and keep up with somebody else. We're at different stages of our spiritual journeys, different stages. Not one's right and one's wrong, just different perceptions. We're two separate entities. The more I resist him and his opinions, the more he enforces his opinions on me.